Joel Goldberg back at Kauffman Stadium. 23-year-old Bryce Harper was born in October of '92. He was not even 1 year old when George Brett played his last game, but he says growing up he used to watch video of George Brett all the time and admired the way the Hall of Famer played.
Just the way he played, you know, the way he went about it, his mentality, his attitude, you know, the way he hit, I mean, everything. I mean, he just played the game the right way every single day he went out there. And you know, of course, you know, he's definitely a legend around here in these parts. But you know, he was somebody that I admired and looked up to, you know, when I was growing up, and you know, somebody that you know, is, you know, truly one of the best. So it's a lot.
Spent about 5 minutes talking with Bryce today. Said that growing up he'd go back and watch video of Pete Rose, Mickey Mantle, and George Brett, and he said he hopes gets a chance to see George here during this series and catch up with him.
Wow. Well, what a coincidence.
Wow.
George is here in the booth with us. How about that?
That's pretty impressive, yeah. I had heard that he was a fan, but I'm going, you know, that's got to be a bunch of BS because he was 1 year old when I quit playing. He must have had a good beta or a good video recording system at his house.
A beta?
Yeah, beta or whatever they call those things.
By the way, you can Google that if you want to, if you're not sure what a beta is. The old Beta,
you know,
Max.
those old recordings of stuff.
Yeah, but he's 100% right. Attitude and the way you went about your job, George. Forget about you had more hits than any third baseman in the world. It's your attitude and the way you presented yourself as a big leaguer that impressed him and many others.
Well, that's nice to hear that young kids today, even though they never saw me play in person, remember the way I played the game, the way I went about playing the game, and the hard work that I put into the game prior to the games, and the competitiveness that I did have. So, I mean, it's a big honor to have what people consider the best player in the game today say those nice things about you.
We just left Seattle. Kyle Seager, their third baseman, was a big fan of yours as well. And
how old's he? 24?
He's a little bit older than Harper is. I always think that's a great tribute to a player like you. And I've seen it a lot as Royals announcer when I read bios, and I've seen a lot of players over the years that their favorite players are one guy that played for their favorite team. You know, you can figure out a guy grew up in New York. His favorite player was Derek Jeter and George Brett. You know, like when the second player is a guy that wasn't even in his hometown, that's got to be the ultimate compliment.
Yeah, it really is. Like I said it earlier, I'm flabbergasted by the whole thing. I remember last year, right at the end of the season, Jeff Davenport called me up, the traveling guy and the clubhouse guy, and he said, "Hey, Under Armour wants you to do a deal for them, and they're going to put it on their Facebook page or something, and it's all because Bryce Harper's an Under Armour guy." And it's like in anticipation of him being the MVP of the National League. And they basically gave me some stuff to say. A TV crew came over to the house, and I'm saying, "Are you kidding me? Is there any other choice but Bryce Harper as MVP?" And so I did some stuff for him, and then they put it on Facebook or whatever they do, tweeted it, I don't know. But that's the first time that I had heard that, you know, he was kind of a fan. And I think one other time, Bob Schaefer, the old Royal coach and scout, he was struggling in the minor leagues or something, and he had me call him. And he gave me his number, and he said, "Hey, can you call this guy? He's hurt, he's frustrated, he's a real competitive guy. I think if you called him, it would do a lot for him." And I remember calling him on the phone when he was in the minor leagues. He was hurt. You know, didn't know he would turn out to be this guy, but you know, you heard so much about this guy when he was a young kid. On the cover of Sports Illustrated, I think, when he was 16. I think he graduated high school at 16.
The chosen one is what it said on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
How about that?
And then he went to junior college to play against better competition and ended up getting them the #1 pick in the draft that year. But yeah, he's definitely worth coming out to watch.
You know, of all the questions I've asked you over the years, one just pops into my mind. I should have asked you a long time ago, but with so many of your contemporaries, we're going to run out of time. Can you stick around for another half inning? Okay. How about that? That's a play that'll make
Get me in the booth. That's 3 up, 3 down
every single time. So we just have you hang around.
Sure.